So today, obviously, we've got you in as the Te Aroha students. The Te Aroha High School students have some questions that they would like to be answered. We nailed it down to a few top 5. Some students don't understand or see the reasons behind the school rules about uniforms. Why are you so strict about things like jewellery, like clear nose studs, and hair having to be tied up? And could you possibly change your mind?
Well, this is a really good question, Isabel, because it's really dear to students' hearts. And I remember as a student, as a teenager, really resenting a lot of the rules that the school introduced about what you could and couldn't have. What I didn't understand then, and I understand much better now, is that the problem isn't so much the rules. The problem is that either we have a uniform or we don't. So as soon as you have a uniform, and there are lots of really good reasons for having uniforms, and I'm sure that most people understand those, once you have a uniform, you then have to draw a line. So if you are going to think about earrings, you say, well, okay, we'll let you have earrings or not. And if we let you have earrings, well, let's have one earring in each ear. And then people could quite rightly come back and say, but if you've got 2 earrings in each ear, it doesn't make any difference, does it? It doesn't make any difference to your learning, and of course they're right. And so you could go to 2 earrings, but then people would say, well, if 2, why not 3? And so where does it stop? Because extend that into uniform, what you actually wear, and you have the same problem, that you have to draw a line in the sand here and there and say, no, you can't cross that line. And people can come back with exactly the same argument, but it doesn't matter. I can learn just as well in this jacket as another, or with this pair of shorts as another, and they're right. But if you want a uniform, you have to draw a line in the sand, otherwise everybody just starts wearing what they want to wear. And then you have mufti, and then you have some of the issues associated with mufti. Yeah.
Well, fair enough. Why can't we wear sports hoodies in class?
Oh, that's a really good question. So the sports hoodies were introduced by the sports department for first teams. So there was never any consultation or suggestion that they would become part of the school uniform. Do they fit with the school uniform is something that I have been asking myself over the last few months, and I'm not convinced that they do. So we're looking at a change in jacket. We'd bring it in slowly. All those people who are watching this and thinking, oh no, we don't have to buy another jacket. No, it would be phased in, but it would be waterproof, and it would be warm, and it would be selected with participation by students and parents and teachers in making that decision. So we think that the jacket might get us over that problem, that a lot of students don't like wearing jerseys, and therefore they might want to wear their hoodie. And the hoodie is super comfortable. It's really, it feels really good when you wear it. So if we can get a jacket that feels that way, then I think it will change the motivation for wanting the hoodie as part of the uniform.
In our school, we have many diverse groups, including the LGBT community. Some say we don't do enough to recognise diversity, including the issue of sexual orientation. What is your view? Yeah,
so it's a view that's not just about the LGBT community, but any community that doesn't fit the norms, that stands outside of them. And I think the first thing is to say that we want to be inclusive. So we're a New Zealand public, state-funded high school. Anybody and everybody ought to be able to come here and feel welcome and wanted and valued. So any community that's not feeling that way, I've got an open ear to hearing what it is that's not working for them. So I was really supportive of the group that was established either last year or the year before. I've attended one of their meetings. I'm talking through with 1 or 2 students at the moment about what it means to them to have a gender-neutral uniform, to establish whether or not we can accommodate that. So what's really, really important to me is that all of us accept people who are different in any way than most of us.
Yeah. And on this topic, what's your thoughts on a gender-neutral uniform?
Okay. It depends on what it is, all right? So I'm interested in what the LGBT community here at Taradale tells me, and then I think I'll respond to that. So at the moment, I'm not sure what it is that they're wanting, but I have an open mind to listening to their ideas and working with them as much as I can.
That's good. Okay, well, on nature, the world is becoming more polluted and resources are limited. Is our school environmental record good enough?
Oh, absolutely not, but none of our records are, all right? You could look at what we throw out, each week and consume and all of that, and it's not good enough. And we have a real, genuine problem in the world. This planet is in trouble, and we all have to play our part. I'm encouraged about some things. So when we've done a review of our power consumption here at Taradale High School, experts tell us that it would be very hard for us to do better. So that means that people are turning off lights, they're not leaving heaters on, they're turning off air cons once the temperature cools down in summer, etc. So we're doing all right, but that's not really good enough. I was very disappointed, it's nobody's fault, but I was very disappointed that when we built the science block, we weren't able to go ahead with solar heating, or solar power. That was one of our goals, and the board was prepared to put money into that. But we struck a major snag with a roofing problem as the block was going up about this time last year, and that cost an extra $150,000 on the project, which is a massive amount of money. And so the board had to say at that stage that the 60 or 70,000 that we'd put aside for solar panels couldn't go ahead, which doesn't mean it can't go ahead in the future.
Okay, now talking about leadership.
Mm-hmm.
This year, many students are going for leadership positions at our school. What do you look for in a leader?
First and foremost, leadership by example, all right? So it's no good saying one thing and being another. So on our stone of leadership that the school passes over from one year group to the next, from one year 13 to the next, it says on it, be the change you want to see. And that comes from a longer quote from Mahatma Gandhi, which says, be the change you want to see in the world. So when he was asked about change and the kind of person that you needed to be to generate change, his answer was, firstly, you've got to live like what you want others to live. Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming in and answering our questions. It's been really good.
That's a pleasure, Isabel. Thank you for interviewing me with such finesse.
No problem at all.